Welcome to this first edition of the Weekly Dose. Challenge your perspective. This is Patrick Dare. This past Monday, we saw history being made in Kenya. The very first debate of all the presidential elections, facing Kenyans and telling Kenyans why they should be the choice of Kenyans, why they should be the fourth president of the Republic of Kenya. This was historic because this has never happened before. It was a chance for Kenyans to see and to hear their candidates face each other and tell the people of Kenya why they are fit, why they should be chosen, why they should be the president of Kenya. I think by and large, the two moderators did a wonderful job. They asked a very wide range of questions, and the candidates tried to answer them as they could. I personally think that the answers they gave were very generic, and really, they did not distinguish very much from each other. I came out of this debate saying that I did not see a difference in what they would do, a difference in policy, a difference in approach. There were slight variations here and there, but by and large, they were the same thing. And although I think that the two moderators, in my judgment, did a decent job, I still felt that they did not press these candidates to go further and give detailed perspective of where they stand. For example, I would have loved to see a question maybe posed to Raila as to, he has been the member of parliament for Langata for the longest time. And yet Kibera, the residents of Kibera, have not seen much change. There's just cosmetic change in Kibera. It is still the same squalor that people live in. No toilets, no running water, electricity lacking. Kids not going to decent schools. What has he done? I would have liked to see Uhuru Kenyatta being challenged on the question of what was the motivating factor that him and Ruto came together. After all these years of calling each other names. If it was not because of the common denominator of them being prosecuted at the ICC, what is it? I know before they've said that these two warring, or every election, these two groups have been at each other's neck, and therefore the two of them coming together would probably bring peace. I think that is cosmetic. It's a cosmetic reason. Because we've not seen them over this past 5 years go out deliberately and try to speak to the root cause why these two are on each other's neck almost every election. The worst of it was 2007, 2008. I did not see Martha Karua being taken to task as to her strong and steadfast position on the results of 2007, 2008. Did she really believe in her heart of hearts that Mwai Kibaki won? And therefore warrant the very strong position that she took, being the Minister for Justice at the time, and presiding over inauguration of a president or the swearing in of a president in darkness? What is it that drove her out of this government? Was it because she was falling out of favor? How can we believe her that she's a patriot if at the very time that Kenyans needed a true patriot, she was nowhere? Why was Mudavadi taken to task as to why did he decamp from ODM after over and over saying that he would not, that he wanted a fair nomination process, and yet was seeking the very same unfair way of nomination when he was joining the Uhuru camp? Maybe next time. Maybe in the next debate that will happen. But one significant time that I think was very important on this debate was at the very end of the debate. For me, that was the most significant part of this debate, where we saw these candidates shake each other's hands, laugh with each other, pat each other on the back, linger around to talk to each other. Mudavadi talking to Uhuru, Uhuru talking to Raila, Martha Karua talking to Raila, to Uhuru. And again, for me, this was the most significant part of it, because as Kenyans, this is not about individuals. This is about the country. And there's no reason whatsoever that Kenyans should lay hands on each other, should kill each other, should displace families from their only known homes, just because the candidate that you support has lost. If anything, we saw these people being very cordial to each other, because the very fundamental of democracy is that you can agree to disagree, and that there's a winner and a loser. And at the end of it all, what matters is the strength of the country, the soul of the country. The soul of Kenya is what matters. When you kill your neighbor, when you kill a Kalenjin, when you kill a Kikuyu, when you kill Mgriama, when you kill a Luo, when you lay hands on your neighbor just because they're from the other tribe, or just because they voted for the other candidate, you're killing Kenya. And I think this must not ever be repeated. The 2007, 2000 elections, violence must not be repeated. We must not allow ourselves to lay hands on each other. We must advance the very principle of democracy, where there's an elected leader, that the ballots speak, that your ballot that you cast speaks. And whoever wins, let us go home in peace and shake each other's hands. Let peace prevail. Let peace be our guiding light. Because when it comes down to it, these people, the 8 presidential candidates, want to be the president of Kenya. Raila does not want to be a president of the Luos. Uhuru, I believe, does not want to be a president of the Kikuyus. Mudavadi does not want to be a president of the Luyas. Neither does Martha Karua. Neither does Peter Kenneth and the other candidates. They want to be the president of Kenya. And therefore, whoever wins and whoever loses, that's what democracy is. That's what elections are for. That's what your ballot is for. Your ballot must not turn into a machete. Your ballot must not turn into an arrow aimed at the other Kenyan. Let peace prevail. This is the weekly dose. I'm challenging you to challenge your perspective. This is Patrick Dale.